Hey guys, I'm RozaldVane, and welcome back to another episode of A Case of Distrust. So far I'm enjoying this, a little bit simplistic, but very interesting nonetheless, I think, based on it being a 1920s noir-styled, like, storytelling detective game kind of thing. But yeah, in the last episode we basically visited Green's workplace, bootlegging workplace. Got enough information out of that, and then we headed off to Stable's place, which we also got some good information, some achievements on top of that with both locations. But we're gonna head back to Green's house to see if there's any other additional information that I might have missed in terms of going to his place. But once we're done, we'll probably head off to the police station because there's not much left, or maybe go to Frankie's to ask a little bit about Stables, and then head to the police station afterwards, hopefully. But so far it's a little bit difficult to know who is the one with the letter, and it's also difficult to know how we're gonna figure out Green's past at the same time, because we don't know his past completely either. So yeah, let's get back to it. Hail a driver. Let's talk to the driver, guys. We talked about the weather, nothing much more, nothing much else. Sometimes taxi cab drivers made poor conversation partners. Okay. Yeah, we already read this, so pause and read this again if you want to reread this part. I'm not gonna reread it sometimes, because they're usually the same thing. Yeah, the same thing again. She's still out? I found Mrs. Green slumped in the chair, shook her lightly and moaned again, so she's not really awake for anything right now. Yeah, I wanted to see if there's anything that I can find in the case of anything else around here. Yeah, it's hard to tell if there's anything hidden, but I can't say for sure. Okay, yeah, there's nothing here. Okay, let's go to Frankie's then. Southern Coffee. Here we go again. Southern Coffee. Yeah, because I need to go back to Frankie's due to the fact that I needed to make sure that I got all the conversation points before heading to the police station in case of anything else. Give me a quick second. Let me look for something. Or look at something, not looking for something. We began talking about his home state of Colorado. Lovely land, he said. Truly blessed with clean air and wild flowers, he asked. Why'd he leave? Yeah. I asked why he left. The people is mostly fine, It's the politics that are rotten. See, I married an Irish Catholic. Now most people are backwards on that. But at least out there, they keep it to themselves. That clan was seeped right into the core of my beautiful state. The clan? Oh god, the KKK actually existed? Oh... I'm so, like, scared now. What the hell? And now the clan is starting to think national. They're anti-black, anti-Jew, anti-Catholic, anti-Mason, anti-you name it. He shook his head. A day of reckoning is coming with the KKK and our politics. I just hope sanity wins. I hope so too, I said. We came to my destination and I stepped out of the taxi cab. Alright, pause and read that, of course. Frankie, here we go. Talk. And notes. Alright, so we need to still figure out Green's past, but also... Maybe Stable's statement might be good for Frankie, I guess? Yeah, I'll ask these two for sure. Okay, so nothing yielded. Like, he had no idea what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, so nothing memorable off of that. Maybe gotten others to know Green, I guess? Nothing? Okay. Maybe I should go back to... I'm thinking about it. It might be a weird thing to do, but I want to go back to the Tin Spoon. Talk to Paul about Stable's operation, because Paul... Or not Paul, but like... yeah, Paul might know something about stable's actual like activity of working. We began idle chatter, but the drivers kept stifling laughter. When I asked him why, he apologized and said, "Just got out of a Felix the Cat showing. They're running all of them back to back at the Orpheum. Best time I've spent." We talked about the Felix the Cat, which, if you guys don't know what the Felix the Cat is it's a pretty much like an old-timey cartoon, similar to Tom and Jerry, but more focused on the cat, and less of the cat and mouse dynamic, but just more like the cat. So like imagining like old school Mickey Mouse like cartoons, but with Felix the Cat instead. I don't know if the cartoon is any popular nowadays, or is even recognized through popular culture nowadays. I think people do still remember that. I haven't seen the cartoon myself, but I do know how it looks like, how the cat looks like. But yeah, including his favorites, Felix in Hollywood. Can you believe they got Charlie Chaplin and Douglas Fairbanks in the cartoon? He came to my destination and he was still laughing. I stepped out of the taxi cab with a smile on my face. Interesting conversation, I guess. Alright, back inside we go. I tapped my knuckles across the door and a familiar pair of eyes leered down at me. Bars still closed, but you can go up. Again, the doors crackled open and revealed the stairs. A little different this time, in terms of the conversation. Time to talk to Paul again. Anything else you can tell me? Anything else to tell me about Green? I asked. This skin. Look, if you want something, better ask me specific. Okay, I wanted to ask him about Redstone, saying he claims that he doesn't know. Okay, so he doesn't know. Okay. It was worth a try, at least. Ow. Okay. It was worth a shot, at least asking him, I guess, to make sure that he kind of had something or not. Because that is suspicious to say that he claims that he doesn't have any bootlegging activities on him. But anyways, police station, here we go. I've always dreaded visiting the PD after I've flown from the coop. And I was in no mood right now, but if Shipman did know something about Green's note, I had to chase it up. Go here. We're on good times for now. I flagged a taxi cab and was on my way. I thought about chatting with the driver to pass the time. You hear the latest about Shoeless Joe? He asked. Oh no. Let me reread this because it felt weird. You hear the latest about Shoeless Joe? He asked. Gave an interview in Milwaukee. Still says he's innocent. What a racket. Shoeless Joe Jackson was one of the baseball's all-time greatest players, but in 1919, he was part of the White Sox team that had been accused of intentionally losing the World Series, fixing the match for East Coast gamblers like Arnold Rothstein. The scandal's magnitude was so enormous that every American was gripped by the reports in the newspaper, whether they were fans of baseball or not. Although the team had been acquitted in a public trial, baseball insiders still claim the fix has been real. 8 White Sox players, including Shoeless Joe, were forever banned from the league. Throughout the ordeal, Joe had maintained his innocence, and he was suing his former team for back pay that he hadn't received after being banned. Most baseball fans prefer to think of themselves as insiders, and since insiders thought Shoeless Joe was guilty, so did they. Lawsuits starts in a few days, the driver rambled on. Can't believe the guile on this one. Thinks he can ruin the sport, profit from it, and then sue the league? Why? I hope one of the lawyers socks him in the jaw. His rambling continued as we rolled to a stop. I left the taxi cab and wasn't sure if the driver had even noticed. The North Beach station was SFPD headquarters, also poetically baptized the Hall of Justice. The building dominated the corner of Kearny and Washington in Chinatown. Rebuilt after the 1906 earthquake, I thought it looked even more sour than it had been. I strolled to the young bobbed girl behind the large oak desk. She must have been new, because we shared no recognition of one another. I asked for Shipman, and she motioned me to a chair as she passed the purple button. pressed the pearl button. I sat down and she disappeared through a frosted door. I rolled another cigarette to pass the time. Between puffs, I thought about my history at the department, because I have no clue about it still, a little bit. Like, we only got hints at the very beginning of the game, but we just never got a full-on thinking from her, I guess, directly. Between puffs, I thought about my history at the department. I imagined the station captain would have been furious had he known I was there. I did, after all, break a tumbler with the help of another officer's temple. Oh. Literally, our character just, like, slammed somebody's head. Malone slammed somebody's head into a tumbler. And that's why the captain was mad, because she destroyed an object with somebody's head. That had been my last day at the office, or on the force. It wasn't long before Shipman walked out of the frosted door. Alright, he seems kind of weird. And the text is hard to read in this one for sure, a little bit. Samuel Shipman smiled when he saw me. He had always been helpful to me in my days of the force, working closely with Lewis. He'd acquired the habit of bouncing theories by my way. He judged officers purely on results, and because of that, he was one of my few fans. We exchanged brief pleasantries before he said, "Wouldn't come here for a glad handin'." He had a habit of removing the subject from his sentences. What needs doing? I explained my case to him. He scoffed when I mentioned Connor Green. Working for that pinhead? Got a good mind to run him up a flagpole. I just need to know about this letter. I handed him the note Green had given me and explained its content. After looking it over, Shipman tried to stifle a laugh. Couple bunk, he said. See this symbol in the top corner? Or in the corner? Mark of the Black Hand gang. Except, Black Hand letters are always ransom letters, not threats. No foothold on this coast anyhow. Never been one in California. So the letters are fake? The letters are fake? Shipman nodded. Someone trying to imitate the Black Hand. I grunted a sigh and noted that he said what he said. Don't know if Green is getting one over you, he said, or if someone else is pulling Green's leg, but having some dirt on the man couldn't hurt, especially if he's your client. I agreed. I've been trying to dig through his past. You got any bunk on him? Shipman shook his head. No, from Oakland is all I know, but I can do some more digging. I thanked him for that. Under a pile of ice, though, might take... Oh, this is... I think this is Shipman saying it. Under a pile of ice, though, might take me a while. Why don't I telephone when I find something? I had no office where I could receive messages, but I dreaded returning to the station. I told him to call Southern Coffee. Just leave me anything with Franklin Conway, I instructed. He said that was all right. We traded goodbyes, and I went back to the station's entrance. Oh, that was it? Okay. Now I knew the letter was fake, and Tiny Paul's wine had already shown me that Green's bootlegging scheme was bunk. I just had to wait for Shipman's call at Southern Coffee to get some dirt on Green. Okay, so we don't get an option to go back to the police station again, sadly. What do I want to do now? Can I go back to Green's house? Would that be any different right now? No, it doesn't seem like there's any difference here. Sad. Alright. Southern Coffee I go, I guess. Shipman said he'd called Southern Coffee if he found any dirt on Green. I could go to see if he had any message. Of course, if I was stuck on a case, a stiff drink with Frankie could give me a bit of a hint. Alright. Well, I feel like there's not much I can go on. There's not enough clues to seeing who would imitate a letter of some sort of gang. I asked him how he liked driving a taxi cab. It's alright, he said. Pays the bills, I suppose. Well, these things have 2 wheels too many. You like motorcycle better? I asked. He smiled. You've never ridden one, huh? You couldn't ask if you had. I no poet. Can't tell you why it's such a ride. But it's a tonic to the rest of life, sister. He described the smell of the open air, the forest roads, and the sandy beaches on the road from Oakland to Santa Cruz. Oh, so he rode a motorcycle, like, across the California state, or some parts of the California states. Got a cheap Model H right now, but I need one of them new R32s, made by a German group who used to make airplanes. Those babies are so fast, they might as well fly. His eyes still held a twinkle as I left the taxicab at my destination. Alrighty. Same description as we entered this place, of course. Southern Coffee. Frankie was still behind the bar. Wondered if Shipman left any message for me, of course. It was stuck in the case. Yeah, so let's go and talk to Frankie. Alright, let's see if we got any notes to give off to. Yeah, we only got statements, I would say. Some new statements. Maybe we can ask him about the Black Hand letter. I pulled Green's letter from my pocket and showed it to Frankie. Still not sure what to make of that note. Oh, still not sure what to make of that note? Frankie asked. In fact, I said, I do. It's bust. Green was giving me the runaround. This letter is a fake. Frankie gasped. So why would Green hire you? I gave my shoulders a shrug. I still need to solve that part. Well, let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Alright, let's ask about the message, I guess. Any message, Frankie? I asked him. And what do you mean by that? Well, I told Sam Shipman, an old contact was on the force, to leave any dirt with you if he'd find it. Frankie laughed. So now I'm your bartender and your secretary. Say, if I become your housemaid, will you at least pay me? So I'm guessing you haven't heard anything, I said. Not yet, Miss Chief. Frankie chuckled. Shipman's supposed to call you about Green? What have you got so far? Well, you'll like this, I told him. Remember that wine you offered me? Oh, the Zinfandel you turned up your nose to? Where did you say that grape was from? It's from here, California. Napa or Sonoma. You sure? Yes. Alone. That's the only place there's these grapes are grows nowadays. Yeah, this is the same statement that we. Yeah, this is the same statement. I'm not gonna reread through this because it's already the same statement we already asked him, but it's for some reason trying to reiterate that or restate that for some reason. Yeah, I already know. I know they're swindling. That note's already been added like a while ago, which kind of bothers me that it's re-adding it again, even though I asked before this whole thing. Like asked about the thing in the last episode, the previous episode. So, just then the phone rang. Frankie picked up the phone. Hello? Uh-huh. Right. Then he handed me the receiver saying, Shipment. PC, he said, his excited voice crackling in the speaker. Find anything on Green, I asked? Nothing, he said. I was puzzled. Then why'd you call? That's the idea. First, got pinched for a brawl in the ferry building. That was in November 1920. Before that, no Connor Green anywhere around the bay. Strange, he continued. Has troubling staying out of a mess, mixed up in something nearly every week, so only appearing a few years ago? That Oakland backstory is Swiss cheese. If you're wondering what Swiss cheese is, it's like, it has... if you know a picture of what a Swiss cheese looks like, there's a bunch of holes on the cheese. Basically, it's saying it's a lot of stuff, but with holes in it. Like, it has a lot of holes where the story isn't clear as day, pretty much. What are you thinking? Green's got a different past. I asked. As he said, guess that he just got here in 1920 and Never been straight about where he's from. Wait, I said. If Connor Green was a criminal in another town, easily some cop could recognize the name and send him back home. SFPD isn't that thick. Right, Shipman agreed. If it's the same name, could be his real identity disappeared in another town? I thought aloud, so he might have changed lives. Is there any way to confirm that? If Green fled, the local bulls would keep looking for him, but not if they thought he died. Get these cases sometimes where mobsters fake a death to escape a burg. Use a mangled stiff to do it, someone unrecognizable. That way they get out of town without a chase. Give me a quick second. I'm gonna check something up before I go and continue this, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back in a different shirt. Okay, to be fair, after the cut before around the cut time, it was one weekend, and I'm skipping forward to now future Roz, where we are in the future, and I'm gonna finish up this episode with the 10 minutes that we had, because apparently I ran out on my recording because there was something else happening, and so I couldn't finish the recording at that time. So we're gonna finish it up here anyways with the last 10 minutes we need to do for this episode. So anyways, Green's Vancouver wine was a fraud, and his letter was fake too. I wonder if anything about this case was real. I had to discover more about Green's past. Shipman had told me that Green could be from another town. I needed to find evidence of where. Once I knew that, I could phone Shipman using Frankie's telephone. Alright, so yeah, we were literally talking to our uncle's old partner, who I forgot his name, Shipman, yeah. Shipman is the old partner of our uncle's from the SFPD. So that's where we were at. Got any mobster deaths in 1920, I asked? A ton. Too many to look through, though. But narrow the search for me. A town he might be from, I could check a specific city's archive. Anything in the notes tells us where he's from, where he could be from. Yeah, I forgot his voice already, so I do apologize if he had a specific voice I made in the first half of this episode. So, a specific clue that can tell him where he's from. Tickets to St. Louis? Maybe? Yeah, that was like in the drawer, I think. Oh, maybe? I found some tickets to St. Louis in Green's apartment, I told him. The missus was ruffled when I picked them up. I stayed on the telephone while Shipman used another line to call his contact at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I was nursing a glass of gin when he got back to me. Lucky break, PC. Seems there's one that fits the bill. He reads aloud an article from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch dated October 8th, 1920. Gun battle at June's Diner. Gangster dead. Suspect bandit clubhouse scene of another shooting. A heated argument that turned deadly Thursday as multiple shots rang inside June's Diner on the 14th Street. Suspect hideout of Egan's Rats. A man who was found dead at the scene. Unidentified due to shotgun wounds to his face. Police suspect, he is Mobster Bragg, the jester, who had hired a private eye to investigate threats on his life. Last month, Chief of Police Brennan said investigating gangsters on gangster deaths was a waste of time, and the discovery of the threats led many to believe police won't lead or look further into the case. Oh. So this guy was an ex-mobster anyways, in his past place. Hold on, I said. This Bragg character has hired a private detective? So he's doing the same sort of like... So Green is technically pulling the same stunt as he did from St. Louis, where he's gonna get the detective killed. Potentially. Maybe. Seems the police are quick to forget about a case. if they got a reason to think it's just gangster violence. This lines up with Green, I said. Gets better. Greg's first name? Connor. I cursed loudly through the phone. Oof. That's so sad that he's been lying to us and his identity and everything all this time. I connected with my theory. Alright, continue with my theory. And your story says this Bragg was deeply in debt, so maybe Green's been just waiting in San Francisco until he's got enough dough to skip town and go home. He have some bootlegging business? Shipman asked. Why would he leave that behind? No, I shook my head. His wine is complete bunk. It's local stuff, not any Canadian route he might be claiming. I didn't know why he'd pull a fast one until now. Returning Bragg to St. Louis could be huge. Swing by the station. We'll iron it all out. Is that alright? I saw a question mark. I was like, I don't think it feels right to say, we'll iron it all out? That doesn't sound right. I would say like, well, we're ironing it all out, right? Alright. I agreed and slammed the receiver on its pegs. Alrighty. It seems I need to be back in the station. Make my way back to the station. Alright, Frankie's behind the counter, as usual, saying what's up. Oh, he's gonna talk about something else. So what's the news of Green? Frankie asked me. Now it seems like I had all the details. I summarized it all for him. So, the total wrap? Green isn't Green at all. He's Bragg, the jester, a former member of Egan's Rats from St. Louis. He's Bragg? Frankie was shocked, but he's been here for a while. Oh no, but he's been here for a while, Malone. Sure, I said, but only... Excuse me. That voice... Frankie's voice makes me kind of clear my throat a lot. Like, it just kind of gets the Fleming out. Okay. Sure, I said, but only since 1920. He couldn't pay off his debt in Missouri, so he faked his death and moved to San Francisco. He's been longing to go back, but he needs a way to settle his score before he can show his face again. Is that where his bootlegging comes in? Frankie asked. Green set up a sham rum running scheme. He bought local wine, but claimed to get it at lower prices from Canada. He convinced Tiny Paul to front him a heap of cash for it. Instead of providing the wine, he's planning to skip town with Paul's money, disappearing to St. Louis with enough dough to pay back his debt. He already faked his death once, so he'll do it again here? Frankie asked. That's right. His plan is similar to his last one. Hire a detective claiming he's scared for his life, fake his death, then know the police won't bother with underground violence. Frankie looked at me with a blank stare. Seems like all the pieces fit, he said. So he's just gonna hire you as cover? I sighed. Seems like it. Don't worry about that, Frankie started saying, but I cut him off. I'm going to see Shipman now. I'll sweep away this mess, then come back and see you. Have a stiff drink ready, I instructed. Just be careful, Malone. Egan's Rats have a reputation. They can be ruthless. I turned and walked up the stairs. Alright. There's only one place to go. Police station. Police station. Just thinking about it, it sounds like PlayStation. PlayStation. Police station. It's just like, I don't know, my brain is just like internally thinking like station is like the only way to say it with like PlayStation. Green has hired me for cover so that he could blow town. Shipman held this final evidence to sink that plan. I need to get to the station. Go, go. Go, go. Go, go, Malone. Go, go. Because her last name is Malone, so. I stepped into the taxi cab and was consumed with my own thoughts about the case. I finally caught a break, but it was a dud. I hadn't realized it, but I'd been reveling in real detective work once I've learned it all was bunk. My mind reverted to the incessant nagging. I wonder if I was just a puppet to some two-bit mobster. I was hardly bringing much justice to anybody, which made me unsure of what exactly it was that I was doing. I suppose I was wasting my time. It all came back to the same basic premise. You're failing, my inner voice said. I began to feel nauseous in the car. My mind repeated it /thought. You are failing. Excuse me, my throat's just dying on me. And everything returned to black. As if someone had shut all the lights. Wait, what? My naked arms fading into view. They emitted a soft white glow. I rubbed my eyes, willing them to focus, but without success. Between my fingers it appeared in the distance. I could hardly see, but as the object billowed, a clarity came to me. Then I understood what had happened, or what it was. Lewis's gray coat. Floating towards it. I floated towards it. I reached to grab the coat, which was when I saw the needles. No, not needles. Glass, shards, falling all around me. One piece wedged itself deeply in my right elbow. I grimaced, but I was unable to make any noise or movement. But then, as suddenly as the rain had started, it stopped. I looked upwards with caution, wary of the rain's return, but above me I saw the gray coat. It was no longer billowing, it was rigid, a shield against the terrible rain. I started falling, slowly at first, but quickly it gained speed. It came upon me and enveloped me completely. I was suffocating. I couldn't breathe. I let out a gasp. And then the light. It pierces my eye sockets, hitting the back of my skull like a hammer on an anvil. I don't know why the coloring is so deeply hard to read. It makes this text harder to read. I directed all my energy into my lungs and forced out a yell. That helped. Everything became quiet and I could breathe deeply. I noticed someone beside me. He gradually came into focus. Oh. Vision. Achievement unlocked. Okay. Shipman showed his teeth in a big smile. I looked up at him from my laying position on the Murphy bed. He swung his leg over a chair and sat beside me. Thought you'd never come around, he said. Oh, okay. Well, I'll leave this mystery for the next episode because I think I see myself being a little bit overtime now. Yeah, this is the last 10 minutes of this particular episode, but don't fret, I will be recording more of this as soon as I can for the next episode, and hopefully that one won't get cut off as this one did. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys in the next episode Nobody Minds, and hope you guys have a great, amazing day, week, night, or when you're watching this. Next episode, we'll go ahead and see what really actually happened when we were getting into that cab. I'm assuming that we got hit. We crashed, and she got knocked out, and she just saw a vision instead. Because her anxiousness probably didn't show that she got hit by a car, or a car hit the taxi cab that she was in, or that the taxi she was riding in crashed into something, and that caused her to get knocked out and sent to the hospital. And I'm thinking we're waking up in the hospital. But if it comes up as like us being in a mental institution because we were all insane all this time, then I'm just gonna say this is a dumb story, if that is the case. But hopefully not. Hopefully not. I hope it's not that kind of story where it's just like, oh, it's all in your head. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever that I've ever seen in my life, if that's the case in terms of the story. But otherwise, hopefully it will turn out to be just, yeah, what I said, which is like we got hit by a car, or the car hit something and we just kind of got knocked out instead. Anyways, otherwise, that's it for me in this episode. And yeah, next episode we'll figure out what the hell is happening in A Case of Distrust. So, Roz, out.